to understand that somebody will be recording the session, so I'm going off the video, right? So you can start the recording. I think we'll just give 2 to 3 minutes to see if any more are joining. We have, as of now, 35 participants. We'll just see if anybody else joins, and then we'll go forward. Just wanted to ask one more question: is there anybody who is not a Malayali, or everybody over here understands Malayalam? So I'm not sure. I just wanted to ask that question. Is there anybody who is not a Malayali here? Non-Malayalis, anybody? Can I safely assume that all are Malayalis? Fine, fair enough. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's start off. What we have today as a topic is data interpret, right? So we have data interpretation. Now, data interpretation is a topic which finds its way in a lot of. One person, please record it. Please, who's doing the recording?
So I will record it.
Yeah, one person record it.
Okay.
So what happens is, as you move forward in your career now, as I understand, you all are doing a lot of IT skills and IT training. Now, interpretation of data. Now, when you do a lot of presentations, you'll be doing a lot of presentations based on pie charts, bar graphs, these are the two main, then of course line graphs, and then tabular data. There are others also, there are histograms, there are, scatter plots, there are lots of stuff. But when we stick to a training program, or when we say in terms of an elimination round, what comes in data interpretation are these basic figures. So pie charts, bar graphs, line graphs, correct, and tables, tabular form. So data comes in this tabular form. You have to assimilate the data which is given, and then you have to answer the questions. Now, to answer these questions, you need to know the basics of a few of the theories which are there in arithmetic mainly. These theories include percentages, ratios, averages, and a little bit of profit loss discount. Now, there is no hard and fast rule that a question has to come from these 4 topics itself. Data interpretation has come to know for topics based on permutation combination, topics based on set theory, and topics based on time and work or time speed distance. So interpretation can happen in any form, right? But as I said, even if these are different forms, the 4 main sub questions will come from percentages, ratios, averages. Now, what do we understand by these 4? Which are the, now does it mean that I have to study the entire thing? Maybe yes. You have to have a clear understanding of the concepts of these 4 topics. So that's the first thing that I'll do, is just take you through the concepts. Okay. These might have been done in class, I do not know. But when I bring out the sums, I need you all to understand these few concepts, and a little bit of, there'll be other parts also, like approximation of data which will be required. Let's say, what is a percentage? If I ask a very simple question, right? What is 10% of 50? I think the answer will be immediate if I see the chat windows. If I put the chat window up, let's see how many of you will answer. What is 10% of 50? You can put your answer in the chat window. I can see Arnold is there. Jerin is there. Good. Yeah, it doesn't take much time to give this answer. 10% of 50 is equal to 5. I think everybody is aware of it. Let me twist the question a little bit. What percentage of 30 is 300? What's your answer to this question? Let's see how fast you can answer this. Stuck? One answer. 2. 3. Has it come as fast as the previous one? No. Are there as many people who have answered the first one who have answered second one? Not again. Now, some would be clear with the concept, some are not. But let's clarify over here. First of all, if you think the answer is what? Some people think this is 30% of 300, which is not the case. Right? The question is not 30% of 300. So what happens over here? Yeah, the correct answer is 1000. Okay, let's see what happens. Any percentage question is broken into three parts. We say the percentage by 100 of an initial value, initial or total, is always equal to our final value. This is the base of a percentage question. It does not matter what kind of question it is. Any question of percentages will contain these three variables. Two of the variables will be known to us. One is unknown and we have to find it. What is the first question? We were given the percentage of 50. Whichever number follows the word of normally is our initial or total value. So this was 10 by 100 into 50, which is our left-hand side. What was it that we wanted to find? The right-hand side, the final value. So we said this was equal to 5. What was the second question? What percentage? What was on the percentage? So what is it? Of 30. So this was my initial value. Is means equal to. So percentage by 100 into 30 is equal to 300. So 31s, 10s, and required percentage was 1000. Once we understand these variables, we'll find that a percentage problem is fine. In the exam, you will find word problems in data interpretation where they'll ask, what percentage of the dogs are three-faced humans. Now, do not go by the logic of the question. There is no logic. Some questions have got absolutely no logic. If you sit and think about the logic, you're wasting a lot of precious time. What is my question over here? What percentage? So I have to find the percentage of the dogs, whatever the dogs that will come in my initial position, are three-faced humans. You find the data and you substitute and get the answer. As simple as that. This, of course, is a very straightforward question. So what you have to realize is percentage of. This is where it is not simply of. Sometimes you'll find of coming frequently. Percentage of. The key word is percentage of. What percentage of? So what percentage and percentage of, right? So what percentage is the question on the percentage, and percentage of whatever value follows that will be your initial value. Okay, so you have to be very clearly, they'll say, like for example, the money stolen by the thieves is what percentage of the money in the bank. Now see, this is not straightforward, right? You will say the money stolen by the thieves. Okay. So then over here, you'll say, oh, this is not over here. Is what percentage of? So over here comes your what percentage? What percentage? Percentage of the money in the bank. So here comes money in the bank is equal to money stolen. So we have to be very clear about the keywords. Once we are clear with the keywords, we can solve problems based on the direct percentage questions. And a lot of data interpretation questions, subparts will contain this or does contain this. Okay, so that is one. This is one part. Is everybody clear? Or is anybody got a doubt with this? Please let me know if you're clear or not. If you aren't clear, I can explain it again. If you are clear, then I can go ahead. Do not feel, any kind of hesitation to ask. Right? Please do not have any hesitation. Right. The second part is something which is called percentage increase and percentage decrease. Now, why is this important? Because again, a lot of data will be there where you have to understand if I am giving you a certain chart, suppose I have a line graph like this. Yeah, and you have these as 2012, 2013, 2014, 15, 16. And they ask you, in which year, okay, the percentage change was the maximum. Suppose this is say 5, this is say 8, this is say, something like 10. And they ask you the simple question, which year the percentage change was maximum. Now, what does it mean percentage change? You have to find percentage increase and decrease for 2 years at a time. Between 12, 13, you have to find 13, 14, 14, 15, 15, 16. You'll get 4 different values and then you'll have to choose one of the values. Which means you'll have to calculate 4 of these very fast. Otherwise, you're going to waste again. It's a lot of time wastage. So percentage change means either percentage increase or decrease. Now, what do you mean by percentage increase or decrease? It means that when there is an initial value, if there is an initial value and a final value, the initial value can either go up or it can go down. For example, I might have 50 rupees in my purse, which became 60 rupees by earning some money. Or I could have had 50 rupees in my purse, which became 30 rupees. There's a decrease. So the amount of increase or decrease as a percentage is called amount of increase or decrease as a percentage is your percentage increase or decrease. Now in schools and colleges, we say percentage increase or decrease is equal to final value minus initial value by initial value multiplied by 100. This is something that is taught to us in the schools and colleges, right? I have a different way because sometimes they are there when I do not know which is the initial value, which is the final value. I can't decipher or derive from the statement, is this the initial value, is this the final value? There are questions like that, very confusing. And again, if I sit down to waste time trying to understand which is initial, which is final, and then, have a value in the denominator, I'm gone. Because if I do not know, if I'm not sure of this initial value here, and I put a final value here instead, you're gone. So then how do I understand this? This is something called a method of arrows, which I teach everybody. Because I find that this is something which is very helpful, where there's pure logic and something that you don't forget very easily. So what is percentage increase equal to? We know it is going to be final minus initial, simply is known as the difference or the amount of increase multiplied by 100. Multiplied by 100 comes from over here. This 100 over here, percentage by 100, this 100 comes here. Divided by one value over here. One of these two values. Let's see. Logically, if I say percentage increase, it means it's an arrow going up. Correct? Logical. I'm just being purely logical. It's an arrow which goes up. Now, what happens is that what should be the arrow coming over here? Because if there's an arrow here, there should be an arrow over here. Now, this percentage increase, where does it lie in terms of left-hand side, right-hand side? It lies on the left-hand side. And in terms of numerator, denominator, it lies in the numerator, correct? It's in the top part. Whereas this value over here, where does this lie? It lies on the right-hand side and in the denominator, which means they are in exact opposite directions. So percentage increase, if it's denoted by an up arrow here, what comes over here is a simple down arrow. And what does this down arrow indicate? It indicates the smaller of two numbers. Now, once I get this clarity over here, then this issue will never crop up. See, in the first case, what is this? It's an increase. So, you have to write percentage increase, put an arrow, is equal to difference, automatic, divided by. The moment you put a dan or a, you'll be searching for the smaller value, multiplied by 100. So, this equals to 20%. Similarly, same funda for percentage decrease is again difference, which is the amount of decrease multiplied by 100. So when I look at the percentage decrease, it means it's a down arrow, and therefore in exact opposite direction, this comes as an up arrow, which means the larger of the two numbers. Now, once I know this, then there is never a confusion of which number should come to the denominator. See over here, I have to find, I know that this is a decrease. What is a percentage decrease? The difference by the larger value multiplied by 100. So no funda of initial final. This, once you know this, then it helps in a lot of sums. Is this clear to everybody? Percentage increase, decrease? Yes. So then let's just take a simple data over here for 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. Okay. I'm simply giving the data as say 70, 80, 120, and then 100. And if I ask you, in which of these years the percentage, or give me the percentage change for 2017, 2018, 2018, 2019, 2019, and 2020. I want three values. Give me your three answers in one line itself, as per what I've asked. Please don't give separate. Give it one. So 70 to 80 is obviously an increase, 80 to 120 is an increase, 120 to 100 is a decrease. Let's see how fast you can get these three answers, and correctly also, of course. You have to be faster than this, and calculators aren't allowed. Yeah, calculators aren't allowed. So different issue that I definitely will not be there to see whether you're using or not. So it's up to you. There. Adira, I said not one answer at a time. Please put all the three answers together. But if you have got one answer in only this much time, and that being the wrong answer, then we'll have to go back into your base calculations. $14 point something, very nice. 14 point something, 50 and 16.66. That was nice. That was coming fast enough. Okay, so let's see what's happening over here. Now, what's happened in this case? There is an increase. What is the increase? Say it is the difference by 100. Sorry, difference by the smaller number, which is 70 multiplied by 100. So 7 goes over here. This is 100 by 7. 14 sevens are 98. 20 by 3, 14.3%. Actually speaking, that's fine. 2018 to 2019 is an increase. It's a difference divided by the smaller number, 80 multiplied by 100, which is very simply 50%. Third case, there is a percentage decrease. 120 is becoming 100, difference by the larger of the two numbers multiplied by 100. This is 26, which is 50 by 3, which is 16.67% decrease. Right? So that is how you do percentage increase and decrease. Now, anybody has a doubt, please ask. Because I'm moving out of percentage increase, decrease, or percentage change, I'm moving out of it. Does anybody have a doubt with these questions? Now, there's something called approximation. Of course, our knowledge of a certain fractions are very important. 1 by 4 is 0.25. 2 by 4 is nothing but half, which is equal to 0.5. 3 by 4 is equal to 0.75. Okay. Then you have 1 by 5, which is 0.2. 2 by 5 is 0.4. 3 by 5 is 0.6 and 4 by 5 is 0.8. Now, these are our basics, correct? Then you have some more knowledge of 1 by 3 is 0.33. What is 2 by 3? Is 2 times 1 by 3, which is 2 times 0.33 is equal to 0.66. Most fractions can be broken up. Even over here, all of these. For example, if I ask you, what is the value of 1 by 8? A lot of people go off into a calculation, but it's not required. 1 by 8 is simply half times 1 by 4, right? 8 is equal to half times 1 by 4. This is half times 0.25. Now this becomes easy as 0.125. What is 5 by 6? We have this automatic thing, okay, 6 by 50, 0.68s are 48, and then 2, 20, 6 3s are 18, and then put and then 8.33 and all that. Let's see if it can be made simple. This is 5 times 1 by 6, which is 5 times half of 1 by 3. So what does this become? 1 by 3, 0.33. So 5 into half into 0.33. Now 5 into 33 is easy to multiply, is 0. Correct? How much is it? 0.165 and half of that, which becomes 0.825 approximately. Right? So all the fractions are multiplicable. You can break up any fraction form and do it instead of doing the long division. But when you get prime numbers in your denominator, then you're stuck. For example, if I have 1 by 7. Yes, simple, of course, then you will go 7 by, put a 10 over here, 7 ones are 7, and then you will get 3, and then 7 4s 28, right? And then you will get 2, 20, 7 3s are 0.143. Now, the same thing can be done in terms of fractions, but you can't break up the denominator. Okay, so this is more than when you have a prime number, then you go into your long division. If you can do it in terms of numerator denominator here, you can do it also. So you can do it whichever way you want. So that's fine. But as I said, most fractions, for example, if you have 15 by 16, what is the value of 15 by 16? So you can write this as 15 times 1 by 4 of 1 by 4, which is basically 15 times, you can break up, this becomes easy. 4 3s are 12, 13, 14, 15, 3.75 by 4. This is 0.4 3s are 12. And looks like this. So you break it up in terms of its known decimal values, or you do it in terms of fractions. This is one thing. The second is called the approximation. When you have both values, for example, if I say 5.3 upon 1.8, can anybody very quickly tell me an approximate value for this without using calculators, obviously? Can somebody tell me what will be the approximate value of this division over here? Two. 2.9. Kavya, please, when I say approximate, I need to have the decimal. So 2 point something and 2.9 are pretty far apart. You do understand that, right? So when you say 2 point, I can have 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. So that is not an approximation. When approximation requires you to give me the decimal place also. So now I get two answers. Okay, I'll take Anjana's answer. So when I'm doing an approximation, right? Now I know that this is an even number, this is an odd number. I can make this equal to 5.4 and 1.8. So 18 3s are 54. I get the approximate answer as 3. I don't need to do anything. Right? If you had made this 0.1, you know what happened, because this 8 plus 1 is 9. You know this 5 plus 3 is 8. And if you had put one more decimal, it becomes 9. Both of them to get divisible by 9. Right? So this becomes 54 by 18, which is 9 2s are 18, 9 6 are 54, which is 3. That's the approximate answer. 2.9 is the actual answer. So it's not too far. Now let's say if I have something like 18732 divided by 1985. What's the answer to this? What is the approximate value of this? Nobody? It should only take 10 seconds to get the answer. Not more than that. Am I going to do long division? I don't have the time for that in the exam. Now, what happens over here? And I'll tell you what happens over here. You see, you look at the denominator. You see that this is 1.985, which means if I move 3 decimal places here and 3 decimal places over here, this becomes approximately 18.73 divided by 1.985. 1.98 is approximately 2, and therefore you can write your above answer as 18.7, and you can make it an even number divided by 2. 2 9s are 18, 2 3s are 6, 2 6 are 12. This is your approximate answer. Now, if you want, you can check your calculator and see. You'll see that the answer is pretty close to 9.36. The method of approximation not only helps you to move the decimal places, but to also move certain integers as per your requirement, but not by too much. Some people do this, like for example, if you have say 5.7 upon say 3.4. And the obvious thing is that if you want to make this into an approximation, they will say this is 6 upon 3 and say this is equivalent to 2. But this will be a wrong approximation. Why? Because you're moving 0.3 decimal places here front, 0.4 backwards. That's a very bad approximation. What you should do is you move this 1 decimal place front or back to make it an even or odd number. So you can write this as now as 58 upon 34. What does it become? It becomes 19 upon 17. Now 19 upon 17 is a better approximate value, which gives you a better approximate value than this, because now this becomes 1.9 upon 1.7. So what happens over here? This 1.9, you can make it as 2, and 1.7, you make it as 1.8. So what does this become? 20 by 18. Becomes better now, becomes 10 by 9. Now this becomes an easy one to calculate, which is nothing but 1.11, which is a better approximate value. So approximation does not mean that we cut down in one step we do it. We say we bring it down in 2-3 steps, but easy to do it in 2-3 steps, which will be faster than your long division. Okay, so that is how we do method of approximation. There is no theory as such. There's only pure practice over here, nothing else, right? Pure practice over here. Okay, now that's the first part. Now, just to go through your averages, nothing great over here. Averages is nothing but sum of observations upon total observations. This is your averages. Some of the questions do come in terms of mean, median, and mode. What is mean? Mean is nothing but your average. What is your median? It is the middle value. And what is your mode? Mode is the value which occurs the maximum number of times. Now, let me just do a little bit of median and mode. Average, I've already told what it is. What do you mean by middle value? The central value. So if your number of observations is odd, like for example, 1, 5, 7, 6, 3, right? The first step obviously is arrange in ascending order. You don't do this, you get the wrong median. Arrange in ascending order first. So then you will get this as 1, 3, 5, 6, 7. For an odd number of observations, we say the median is the n plus 1 by 2th value. So if there are 5, 5 plus 1 is 6, 6 by 2 is 3. So the third value is your median. It's easier over here because there are just 5 observations. Sometimes you will have 15 or 19 observations at that time, it is important to know which value you are targeting, right? So n plus 1 by 2th value. Suppose n is even. Again, you will have to arrange in ascending order. So suppose you have, for example, I'm already putting it in ascending order, 1, 2, 2, 5, 8, 7, something like this. Then, if that is the case, the median is the average of the n by 2th value, and then they will say n by 2 plus 1th value. Don't remember all that. It's simply the average of the n by 2th value and its next value. N by 2th next value. The average of those two numbers. So we here n is how much? 6. 6 by 2 means third. So the third and its next value, fourth. Correct? So the third and fourth, the average of this. So that is 2 plus 5 upon 2, which is 3.5. So median need not necessarily be as one of the observations. It can be any value, but as long as it is the average of the two middle values. Okay. So the average of the n by 2th and its next values. What is mode? So that is all that is there in median, either even number of observations, odd number. What is mode? Value which occurs the maximum number of times. Now, for example, if I say 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, what is the mode over here? Obviously, the mode is 1. Suppose I have 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. What are the mode over here? What will be the mode of the observations? Anybody who knows the concept of mode? For the set of observations given, where I have 3 1s, 3 2s, and 3 3s, which is the mode? Two. Okay, so you are saying it is a middle observation. So no, Jaren. Actually, the mode is the only value which can take multiple values. Is the only measure of central tendency which can take. So the mode over here is all three. 1, 2, and 3. These are all three are modes. All three are modes. Okay. Because you have numbers which are occurring, all of them occurring more than once and the same number of times. So this 1, 2, 3. Now, how about this? If I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, can somebody tell me which is the mode in this set of observations? Which is a mode in this set of observations? 1 is the mode. Okay, Arnold, fine. Anybody else who agrees or disagrees? Jaren, I didn't understand. What is the meaning of no? I don't understand the meaning of no. You'll have to give me a more explicit answer. Ill-defined. Okay, very good. Ill-defined. So what is the mode then? Aksa says 0 is a mode. Aksa, 0 is not there as a value at all. One for I understood that, Arnold. I understood that. Hari Krishna also says 1 is the answer. Anybody else? Different answer? Do you think there's a different answer? Now, for this set of data, so okay, George says it is the middle value. No, it is not. I would go very closely to what Jaren has said, which says ill-defined, which means this set of observations has got no mode at all. If a set of observations are a set of observations which are all occurring once, none of them occurring more than once, then that set of observations will have no mode. Not 0. Aksa, you said 0. 0 is a value. 0 is a value, which means you're saying 0 is the mode because that occurs the maximum number of times. No. So that was incorrect. The answer is no mode at all. So if you have, for example, 11, 15, 19, 23, 100, what is the mode, or 1000? Which it doesn't matter. What is the mode of these observations? No mode. But if it was 11, 11, 15, 19, obviously 11 is mode because it's occurring more than once. So mode requires the observation to occur more than once. And if there are more observations which occur same number of times more than once, then they are all the modes. Okay, so that is your mean, median, mode. Is this clear, everybody? So that's your average. Now comes your last bit of theory that you have, which is called ratios. Now, I've seen a lot of people struggle in this, so I'm just getting the concept clear out of this. The most important thing that we need to understand is quantification of ratios. How do I quantify ratios? If I say that A is to B is equal to 2 is to 3, suppose their salaries are in the ratio 2 is to 3, and the sum of their salaries is equal to, say, 500 rupees. Then how much is A's share in this and how much is B's share in this? 200 and 300 is correct. Now, some people do it by the method of parts. Okay, what is the method of parts? Say, by the method of parts, we say A's portion is basically A's part upon the sum of the parts multiplied by 500, and B's portion is B's part upon sum of parts multiplied by 500. This is a method which most people use, but this is rarely used. The most important method is the method of variable X. We can say let A equal to 2 and 3, let A equal to 2x and B equal to 3x. This is very important. Because when I take 2x is to 3x, xx cancels, it becomes 2 is to 3. Now this, then I can say 2x plus 3x is equal to 500 because the sum of their salaries is 500. So if 5x is equal to 500 and therefore x equal to 100. Now once you get the value of x, you put that into these and you'll get this as 200 and 300. Now why do I say this? There are lots of questions which are part of equations. If we try to go and put them in terms of fractions, you'll get the answer. You will take a long time in calculation. So the method of variable x is much more widely acclaimed than the method of parts. This normally we use in a chapter called mixtures, allegations and mixtures. We use this method of parts. But for everything else under ratios, whether it's partnerships, whether it is direct, indirect proportions, we use the method of variables. Are we clear with this? So this is called the method of variables, right? So that is your ratios. Very briefly, we just understand, since we are doing the Indian system, 1 lakh is equal to 10 to the power 5, 1 crore is equal to 10 to the power 7, 1 Arab, which is above the crores, is equal to 10 to the power 9, right? Sometimes we have conversions. 10 millimeters is equal to 1 centimeter, 100 centimeters is 1 meter, 1000 meters is 1 kilometer. 1 minute, 60 seconds, 1 hour, 60 minutes. Therefore, in terms of seconds, 1 hour is equal to 3600 seconds. Important conversion, 1 kilometer per hour is equal to how many meters per second? If you don't remember, it's perfectly all right. As I said, 1 kilometer is how many meters? 1000 meters. 1 hour has got how many seconds? 3600 seconds. So this is 5 by 18 meters per second. Okay, so these are your important conversions which sometimes occur. Okay, what are different types of graphs? You have pie charts, which are circular figures. Correct? If it is percentage, then the total value will be equal to 100%. What I'm saying over here is, if you have 3 companies A, B, C, or let's say it's an A, B, C. If I say that this is 30%, this is 60%, right? Then how much will C be equal to? The total should be 100%. So this will be 10%, right? Sometimes if it is given in terms of degrees, then the total should be equal to 360 degrees. The total should be 360 degrees. So if you have company ABC again, if you say that this is looks to be greater than, so if this is 120 degrees, looks to be an acute angle. Let's say this is 80 degrees. Then this angle will be how much? 360 minus 200, 160 degrees. Right? That's how you should be doing your calculations, or your calculation should be based on your total. Also remember the difference. If I say this is company sales, if I say this is say 100 units, how much is A's portion? So we say 30 upon 100 times 100, or let's make this 200 units. So 30% means 30 by 100 times 200. So this will be 60 units for company A. How much will be company B? 60 by 100, 60%, 60 by 100 times 200. So it will be 120 units. Okay, so that's how you will get it. Then obviously C will be 10 by 100 times 200, which will be 20 units. The sum of your units should be equal to your total. If it is degrees, and if I say that this is basically say 720 units, just to make life easily, how much is company's A? Company will be 120, which is a part of 360 degrees. Why? 30% was a part of 100%. So 120 is a part of 360 multiplied by 720. This will be A's portion. How much will be B's portion? 80 as a part of your total value multiplied by 720, and so on and so forth. This is the most important part of your charts, your pie charts and your pie charts, basically the breakup of either percentages or degrees. It can be in bar graphs also. When you're doing bar graphs, just be careful. You can have individual bar graphs where you say, this is for companies A sales over say 3 years. Say this is 2020, 2021, 2022. So this is single line data. So you have to take out the scale from here. From here directly, you have to take out the values. Not an issue. But you can have multiple bar graphs where you say, you have two companies whose data is given side by side for say 3 years. This is company A, and then you have like this. This can be say 2020, 21, and 22 for two companies A and B. Now they here will give you an index. Say this is given like this. Okay, and then you have something like this. The first one will always be company A, second one. So they'll have a key over here. So look at the key very carefully. This is company A and the dots are company B. Okay. Scale, also be careful looking at the scale. Sometimes they'll say in thousands, in hundreds. So accordingly, take out the data as per the requirement. Okay. Our line of sight sometimes can fool us. So take a very approximate value. If it's exact, very good. Sometimes they'll give the value directly over here. This is 20. They'll give this as 40. They'll give this as 10. They'll give this as 30. They'll give this as 50. They'll give this as 15. So direct value sometimes from the graph. Okay, these are combined graphs. Then you can have a stacked bar graph. What's a stacked bar graph? Where instead of doing it in double, they'll give it to you all in one graph itself. It's a cumulative graph. Let's say 2020, you have for company ABC. This is company A, this is company B, and this is your company C. Again, your index, be very careful. See what is given in your index or the key. And this is company C. Now, when you say over here, suppose this is 10, this is 25, and this is 40. What is the sales? If I say this is the sales of ABC for 2020. So what is the sales of company A? That is direct, it's 10. But as I said, a stacked bar graph is a cumulative bar graph. What will be the sales for company B? It won't be 25. It is from 10 to 25, right? It's from here to here. So 25 minus 10 is 15. And then for company C, it is 25 to 40. So how much is that? 40 minus 25, that is also 15. So that's how you take out data from a stacked bar graph. Okay. Then obviously the last one that you have is a line graph. Tables, of course, is simple tabular data. As much as possible, you should take out your data into tables. And if tables already given, very good. What are line graphs? Line graphs are simple, something as I have shown you before. You can have something like this. So again, you'll take out the data, but sometimes you can have combined line graphs. So again, you got to be careful over here. Combined line graphs where you have two line graphs. So they will give you, say, diamonds, connecting diamonds. One line graph connecting diamonds. Okay, something like this. Then you can have another line graph which is connecting circles. So you have to be very careful when you're taking out the data, something like this. Okay, then they will put a key over here. What are diamonds? They'll say this is diamonds for this, and they'll say circles are this. Then take out the data first and then do your questions. It helps a lot taking out the data. Otherwise, we'll spend a lot of time just trying to take out the data from the graphs itself. It's a lot of time. Is everybody clear with all of this? Pie charts, bar graphs, line graphs. Any doubts, anybody? Let's move on to the questions then, if nobody has any doubts. Just put up your answers on the chat screen, whatever the answer is there for question number 1. So I think question number 1, 2, 3 are related, but look at the data and then just give the answer. Yep, 5.19 is the correct answer. So in effect, what are we asking? How much was the FDI inflow of 2020 was how many times that of 2015? So that is 26.5 and 2015 is 5.1, which if you look at it approximately itself, this you can take off this 5.1, so that becomes 5.5 is 25 and 5.3, and the closest over here is option A, right? So you don't have to actually do. So you see that that really helps in doing our answer. Okay, so that's question number 1. Just for your understanding, a million is 10 to the power 6. A billion It's 10 to the power 9, and 1 trillion is 10 to the power 12. Just to, so sometimes you can have it in terms of million and billion. 17.1 billion. Yeah, because here it is in billions of euros. If you just remove the decimals itself, 11 and 5, 16, plus 20 is 36, plus 17 is 53, 76, 92. If I just don't take the decimals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is basically 46 upon 3, right? I think that is, so that's 49, 49 and 17, 66, 86, 97. I think this is 102, not 92, 102. That's 51. That is 17. So you get 17 billion, right? So that itself is more than enough to give me know that this is my answer. Nothing else can be the answer. The other is 15. So that's far away. Right? Option D is the correct answer. Again, that is approximation, where we can take off the decimals. Okay. Please put up the answers. I'll be back in a couple of minutes and get some tea for my throat. Anybody else? So when it says how much more, and you see the answer in percentage. So basically they're asking for a percentage increase or decrease. More means percentage, obviously, increase. Abhijit says it's 25. Getting all the possible answers. If you remember, percentage increase is difference into 100 by the smaller value. Now, some mistakes do happen because most people start off thinking male is to female, whereas the ratio is female is to male. So that's number one. How much more? And we are saying the table shows the percentage distribution of 1,200 employees in industrial park across 5 major companies in the park. Right? Although this does not add up to 100%, that's fine. This is basically an 80% data, but it shows that this 80% is the 1,200 employees. That's what the question says. Now, male in C. Now, how many employees are there in company C? Employees in C is 11% of 1,200, which if I'm right, should be 132 employees. And this is in the ratio 6:5. Now, this is okay to do by parts. We can do this as 5 by 11. That is the males. It's 5 by 11 times 132. So this will be 60 males. And we want females in company B. Yeah. So for that, I need to have the employees in company B. 10% of 1,200, which is 120 employees. And how much are the females in company B? 2 by 5 times 120, which I think is 48 females. Now you have got your data. Now we want percentage increase, which is how much more. Here I do not know which is increase, which is the, if I had gone by final and initial, I would not have got confused. So percentage increase is the difference divided by the smaller of the two numbers multiplied by 100. The answer becomes 25%. You can look at it once, give you some time to look at it. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Clear, everybody? Those who got 20, 50, I hope you are clear. Let me move on to the next question. So it's again a subpart. How many of these statements are true? Option C. Of two statements. Anjana is saying three of them are correct. Jamna says two of them are correct. Let's see. Option C. I see only 4, 5, 6 people who are answering fixed. If you want, you can always create a tabular form over here for this kind of question. In fact, this would have always helped in the starting itself. The total employees in the company, the number of females in the company, number of males. A, B, C, employees, 20% of 1,200. So it's always going to be a multiplication of 12. So 12 twos are 240 employees here, 120 here, 132 over here, 108 over here, and then 360 over here. Females, males. So this is in the ratio 3:7. So 3 by 10 times 240. Right? That's 72 females in this. And then 7 by 10. 72. 7 by 10 times 240. That's 7 times 24. 140 plus 168 males over here. In this, it is 2:3. So 2 by 5 times 120. So 5 twos are 10, 24. 24 twos are 48 and 24 threes are 72 because that's a constant. So 11 and 12. So this is 12 6 are 72 over here and 60 over here. 12 5 60. 9 12. 12 is a constant. 12 5s are 60. 12 4s are 48. And this is 1 by 6. So 60 is a constant. 60 and 300. This breakup can help a lot. Number of male employees in D is greater than number of female employees in C. Number of males in D is greater than number of females in C. So this is false. Then number of employees in companies other than A, B, C, D, and E equals to 240. So you're saying over here, the sum of this minus this, other than the males, and that should be equal to 240. Right? So this is true. Number of female employees in B equals the number of male employees in D. That's true. Number of female employees in D equals number of female employees in E is again true. So your three statements are true. So three statements are true in this. So a table always helps. to get it fast. Otherwise, again, you'll have to take out data from each of them and then, keep on doing, which takes a lot of time. Okay. $4,800. Okay. Anand also says option. Okay. Let's see. By the way, 4,800 is incorrect. Just to let you all know, 4,800 is not the correct answer. If somebody was waiting for me to say that, then put up the answer, another answer. You have to be sure about your own answer. You should not get intimidated by somebody else answering, oh, mine is different, so mine could be wrong. The exam, you will not have such options. Whatever you get, you will have to tick mark, right? Yeah, the first answer is 1,200. Says over here that this is a full chart. If you see, you should always check if it is 100%. So 20 and 20 is 40. 40 plus 10 is 50. 50 plus 10 is 60. And this is 75. That means this will be 25%. And this 25% is broken up in terms of shopping, Domestic, so that's 46 and 16, 62. 62 plus 30 is 92. So donations is 8%. Now, how much money did Mehta spend as donations? So you want to know how much was this part. So that means it comes as other expenses. Now, other expenses 25% of 60,000. So first is other expenses is 25% of 60K, which is 25% means 1/4 of 60,000, which is 15,000. Now this entire thing is 15,000, of which donation is 8%. Therefore, 8% of 15,000, which is equal to 1,200 rupees. Sometimes you see this part, if somebody knows the concepts of percentage good enough, we are basically saying 8% of 25% of 60,000. This is sometimes called successive percentage. It's the same thing. Instead of doing it in 2 steps, you can do it in a straight line equation. This is 8% of 25% of 60,000. You see, 25% of 60,000 is 15,000. Then 8% of 15,000, you will get the same answer. But you can escape 2 steps. Calculations are faster. Right? So this is the first part. Everybody clear over here? Option D, data insufficient. Why is the data insufficient? Anjana? I just saw your answer now. Data is very much sufficient. Perfectly all right question. Yeah. 2 answers, 3 answers, 4. I'll give some more time for this question because it's important. No one else wants to take a gander? Okay, other than Rashmi, I think everybody else has said 375%. No, Anand said 26.67. Okay, that is option A. Okay. Now, issue over here. Obviously, this is a percentage, as I said, the percentage question based on 3 variables. Either it is that or they will ask you percentage increase, decrease. Now, this is based on those 3 variables where you have percentage by 100 into an initial value is equal to a final value. Now, the amount of money spent by method as a percentage means we are asking about the percentage value over here. Now, which of these is a initial value, which is final? If you see, this is percentage of money. So this is percentage of, that means this value is my initial value, which is this entertainment on the month of August. So percentage by 100 into money spent on entertainment in the month of August. Let me just put it as entertainment is equal to amount of money spent by Mehtas on education. This is our actual equation. As I said, it can be confusing, but if you are clear about what is what percentage of money, then this becomes your initial. And therefore, now data-wise, there's nothing great. What is the money spent on entertainment? 16%. of 25% of 15,000. Entertainment is 16% of 25% of 60,000, which if I am right, couple of zeros will go here, couple of zeros go here, couple of zeros go here, they go over here. So this is 150 times 16. So 16 5 is 80. This is 2,400. So education, this is 2,400. What is the money spent on entertainment? Oh my bad. Entertainment is 2,400. Entertainment is 2,400. This is 2,400. How much is the money spent on education? 15% of 60,000. So that is 9,000. So the simple question now is clear. It is 2,400 is equal to 9,000. You can do your calculations here. Required percentage is 9,000 upon 24. I think 3 8s are 24, 3,000, 4 2s are 8, 4 7s are 28, 29, 30, and this becomes simply 375%. So you have to be clear in terms of which is what. Okay, which is what. So you can have pie charts like this, split pie charts, and then they will ask you, something like this. Everybody clear with this? Everybody else, Anand is clear, very good. Okay, good. So we have 7, 8, 2 more questions. After that, if there is time permitting, I will do some questions on ratios, because ratios is definitely a topic that requires some, right? So let's see. Option B. (45 is to 64). Megha, your cam is on. Megha, your camera is on. No one else. I'll do the first part. Our issue over here is we are given profit percentage, and these are your profit percentage over here. Okay. The blue is company X and the red is company Y. Okay. Incomes of two companies X and Y in the year 2015. So income of X in 2015, let it be 2X. And the income of Y in 2015 will, sorry, this is 3X and 4X. This is the first thing. Take it as variables. Right? This is something which I told you. In ratios, take it as variables. Now, we want a ratio of expenditures. Now, expenditure is coming from this formula. So we will have profit percentage. What is the profit percentage in 2015 for X? In 2015 for X, it is 60%. And what is the profit percentage for Y in 2015? It is 50%. Now put it in the equation. Let's look at what is the expenditure of X. So we have profit of X is income of X, which is 3X minus expenditure of X upon expenditure of X into 100. This is for 2015, so I'm not looking at anything else. So if I look over here, 0, 0 goes, 6EX is equal to 10 times 3, 30X minus 10 expenditure X. So what do I get? Put it in the side, 16 times EX is equal to 30X. Therefore, expenditure of X is equal to 30X upon 16. This is your expenditure of X that you get. Same thing you do for expenditure of Y, right? So you've got one equation here. Expenditure of Y, what will you do? You know profit of Y is 50 is equal to income of Y is 4X minus expenditure of Y upon expenditure of Y multiplied by 100. 51s are 50, 52s are 100. So you cross multiply, you'll get EY. 2 times 4 is 8X minus 2EY. Therefore, 3EY is equal to 8X, or expenditure of Y is equal to 8X upon 3. You have got both the expenditures in terms of X. Now you want the ratio of EX is to EY, which is 30X upon 16 is to 8X upon 3. So obviously the X cancels off, and then you want it as a non-fraction. So if you want a non-fraction, that means you'll have to take a common denominator. Take this as 48. 16 3s are 48. So 3 into 30 is 90 is to 16 into 8. How much is 16 into 8? 128. So 90 is to 128. And that can be reduced as 2 45s are 90. 2 6 are 12. 2 4s are 8. Therefore, the answer is option B. So you need to go with the flow. For that, you need to have confidence in yourself in doing the sum. Sometimes you'll say, oh, I've got two different variables. Where will the variables get cancelled? Don't worry about that. First, try the sum. So all you had to do over here was ensure to go as part of the formula. But even before that is to take the ratios. As I told you, the method of taking variables is the best method to do ratios. Okay? Is this clear, everybody? As I said, very few people, and Chandana got it very, very early. Okay, right. Last question.
Sir, I have
Yes.
one doubt.
Very good. At last, somebody's got doubt.
Sir, in the earlier question, you took 60 is equal to 3x minus EX, right?
Correct.
Sir, why do we take the X as the same value for the 3 and E? X as a common value.
Why don't we take X as the
Common value? Can it be, wouldn't be different actually, since we are computing on a different factor?
It would not make any difference. As long as you take X as say 30, you take X as 30. The ratio will be still 3:4 because there is no finite value anywhere. In this case, what I'm saying is there is no finite value, where it's given that this value is equal to 100 or this value is equal to 250. So you could have said 3x, 4x, you could have taken as 300 and 400. No issues.
So we can assume anything as long as it is not mentioned in the particular.
As long as there is no finite value mentioned in the sum, you can take anything, X as anything, to bring it back in the same ratio. Does that clear it out? I'm sorry. Your voice was fading. Come again? I don't even know who's speaking, but the voice is coming very unclear. Can you please type a message better still? Oh, okay. Okay, fine. Fine. C, 30 crores. Hmm. I think everybody should know this much, that profit is simply income minus expenditure. Minus says D, 23 crores, two answers. And income is given as 100 crores. You have to find the expenditure. So this is company Y in red, 2012. Percentage profit is 30%, income is 100. From there, you'll get a value of expenditure. Once you get a value of expenditure, you can find the value of profit because that's income minus expenditure. Let's see. I've given you the clue. Let's see if you all can solve it. No, no takers. You have your percentage profit given as 30. Your income is given as 100 crores. What is the expenditure for that year? So this cancels. You get 3E is equal to 1000 minus 10E. Correct? So you'll get this as 13E is equal to 1000, or your expenditure is equal to 1000 by 13. Once you get this, then your profit is equal to income minus expenditure, which is 100 minus 1000 by 13. Here's where a lot of mistakes happen, where a lot of people go off and try to convert this into a decimal and then do the sum. It doesn't make sense. As much as possible, do your fractions. For that, your LCM, HCF should be pretty clear. So what is the LCM here? 13. So this is 1300 minus 1000, which is equal to simply 300 upon 30. Now you have no option but to go. So 13 twos are 26, and nothing here other than the starts with 2. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 33s are 39. Therefore, the answer is 23 crores. Was there any difficulty in this question? Even after saying how to go about doing it, I think a lot of you all left it off. I don't know why. It's a pretty easy question, isn't it? Is there any doubt in this? Anybody? It was an easy one. Yes. Correct. Not much. All you have to do is be careful which percentage you have to take. If you end up taking for company what have they asked over here? For company X, then it becomes a problem. And I'm sure that that answer would have been there amongst these options also. Instead of taking the red, if we had taken the blue, then we have an issue over here. Then the answer would have come something different. But don't get intimidated by formulae. In fact, when the formula is given, it becomes even easier. Because then we have a guideline to do the question. It's when we don't have a guideline is when we have problems, right? Okay. It's 7:55. You guys have had enough, or you'll want to do one more? I leave the option. One more. Good. Chalo. You have 5 minutes. Let me make this font a little bit smaller. There are 4 sub questions to it, but I don't think we have time for all the 4 sub questions. So let's see what we can do. Okay. Simple question. Okay. This is simple again. What they're saying is Jan Shatabdi Express between Kochi and Trivandrum has 10 compartments with a seating capacity of 96 persons per coach, which means your total seating capacity of the train is 960 seats. Standing passengers are not allowed. The train has stoppage at the following station. I mean, Kochi is the starting point, so it's not a stoppage actually. So it starts in Kochi, goes to Kottayam, Chenganur, Kayangulam, Kollam, Thiruvananthapuram, and people get off over here. Now, which leg of the journey is the seat utilization? That is, which part of the journey is the maximum number of passengers sitting down? Is the question. So black means passengers getting out, and gray means passengers getting in. So this is a stacked bar graph. Now, thankfully for you, the data is given over here. On the value itself is given. Option D. Yeah. So in Kochi, we are saying, right, if you look at the Kochi, Kottayam, Chenganur, Kayangulam, Kollam, and TDM. If you look at the passengers who got in, out, and total, a simple table like this will straight away give you the idea of what is happening. And how many were traveling on that total leg. In Kochi, how many got in? 800 got in. How many got out? Nobody. So from Cochin to Kottayam, 800 people traveled. Now in Kottayam, how many people got out? 100 people got out. So there was 700 left, but 120 also came in. So 800 minus 100 is 700. So now 820. There were a total of 820 passengers. Then what happened in Chenganur? 70 got out, right? I should be writing in terms of 70 got out and 50 got in. So from a total of 820, correct? 70 got out. So leaving it 750, but 50 got in. So there were now 800 passengers over here. Then what happened in Kayangulam? 120 got in, but 40 got out. So 800 minus 40 is 760. 760 plus 120 is 880. Then in Kollam, what happened? 150 got in, 120 got out. So 880 minus 120 is 760 plus 150 is 910. And in Trivandrum, how many got in? Nobody. And 910, it should tally, got out. Okay, so total sum. So which leg of the journey, correct, is the seat utilization the maximum? So from Kollam to Trivandrum, isn't it? Kollam to Trivandrum, 910 passengers were there. So this was your correct answer. That would have been your correct answer. Kayangulam to Kollam, there were only 880 passengers. But from Kollam to Trivandrum, there were 910 passengers. Clear, everybody? Now, we'll just do one last question, which is a sub question. How many passengers traveled in the train on that particular trip of Jan Shatabdi Express? Very simple question, can be done in less than half a minute. How many passengers traveled in the train on that particular trip of Jan Shatabdi Express? Varsha says 1,240, which is very simple, right? Very clear. What are the total number of passengers? All the passengers who got inside the train. 800 plus 120 plus 50 plus 120 plus 150. All the fresh passengers. Don't worry about those who got out. Just those fresh passengers who came in. So 120 plus 120 is 240. 150 plus 150 plus 150 is 200. So 200 plus 800 plus 240. This is 1000. So this is 1240. That is your correct answer. So sometimes we think it is very complex, but there's nothing much complex about it. Okay, there are two other questions, but that's okay. But the basic is understanding. Every question is different. Everything is different. So there can be a lot of different types of questions. Our thing is whether it can be answered from the data given, how we interpret the data. So the moment we get this insight, then everything becomes easy. All right, folks, I think that's all that we have for today. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Good night. Night. I'm logging off. Yeah. Thank you. I'm leaving the class.